Hey guys, welcome back to Microsoft Security Insights with Dillon White. I wanted to kind of just give a quick little 5-minute rundown into who I am for anybody that's new to the channel in a kind of a low-key, dialed down tone and context, just so you guys can get to know me a bit outside of just the Twitters, the LinkedIns, and the YouTube content. So I'm kind of going to go over just what I have around the desk, and so you can get to know me a bit, right? So first thing about me is I was born and raised in Anchorage, Alaska. And I lived there until I was 15 years old. And then I moved around a bit. I went to high school in Maryland, and then I joined the Coast Guard, right? So I always have a nice little Coast Guard flag at my desk to kind of remember the times. I spent 8 years in the military. If it wasn't for the Coast Guard, I won't have the career I have today, so I owe them a lot. I always talk about my experience in the Coast Guard and how I think it's one of the few forces in the military branch where you can actually you dictate what you do, so it's really good. I like it for people that are open to the military. I also think there's ways in which you can use the armed forces and contracting role with military branches to elevate your career as well, so that's something I like to talk about too. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, as you can see with the lovely Gryffindor sticker. I also got a nice little Dobby pop, right? Like Dobby's the OG, one of my favorites. I have my lovely little Voldemort Pez thing that my daughters try to steal, so I keep it on the top shelf. I also have 3 lovely daughters, and they've broken most of the pictures, but if I find one downstairs, I'll probably show that in the next one. I'll probably try to do these once a week, just to keep them a little fresh and gives me a little updated content. But I have 3 daughters. They're 5, 3, and 1. And then my wife gifted me this Bellatrix Lestrange pop. Right, Bellatrix is a huge portion of Harry Potter, right? For those that don't know, she killed Sirius, right? So super sad that one was, right? Like I think, what else did I got? I have my bookshelf. I have some good books on here, like Rich Dad Poor Dad's a great book, but it's not the only one. Honestly, I think The Psychology of Money is probably the best book on the shelf. It talks about how a lot of people that make really good money and good wealth, there's a real difference between being wealthy and rich. There's also a difference between risk and luck, right? Like a lot of us think that risk is just, throwing everything on black, which, yeah, that's a huge risk. But luck is just being in the right place at the right time, right? We talk about it a lot in sales. And luckily I get to talk to some really good sales executives, and 99% of the time when they're telling me things, it's, hey, you just got being in the right place at the right time with the right audience is 99% of the battle, right? So I think that's something that Psychology of Money covers more than anything. I have a couple Hogwarts books up here. I have my Baby Groot, right? Everybody loves a little Baby Groot action. One of my faves. Let's see, what else we got up here? We got my lovely Microsoft security swag. Alright, if anybody's from Microsoft's watching, if you want to send more, that'd be super cool. Could always use the swag. I have my Barista Deadpool. I think it's probably one of the more unique ones. I'm a huge Deadpool fan. I have Harry Potter. I have a Mandrake on my shelf, and for those that can't see the very top shelf, I have my very nice whiskey collection, the ones that make me a little excited, right? So I got Macallan 12 year. This one is a double casked, so I got it from a sales exec for a very good project that we did. And then I found this one at my local ABC store. It is Eagle Rare. Right, it's a 10-year bottle. It was just sitting on the shelf, hidden behind all the other bottles. So that was very cool. So I like to do these just because it's different content than just, hey, let's study for a test, let's pivot into tech, right? It's kind of a disorganized ADD version of myself, which I don't get to do often. So it's very low key. I want everybody to know that as you find your way in IT, it's different, right? It's different for everybody. You could chase certs all day, every day, right? Like, or you be very selective. So when I talk about being selective with certs, I really want people to understand that there's different pathways to search in the technology space, right? There's not only the platform choices you get to make, and by platforms, you'll hear, influencers, you'll hear, just people in the industry like myself. When we talk about platforms, we're talking about the Microsofts, the AWSs, the Googles, the Oracles, right? We're talking about the large platform vendors out there, the ServiceNows, the Salesforces, that have learning platforms of their own to provide you, the user, certifications, upskilling, right? The ability to have access to free documentation. That's huge for me, right? So I'm a very big advocate on Microsoft. I'm a huge advocate on AWS, huge advocate Salesforce. ServiceNow is making a very big play into the learning space. Um, so I think when you are first looking for your first job in tech, picking a platform is, I think, 99% of the battle, right? Because it's so big, so broad, and we have a large tendency in our society today to think about what's next, what's the hottest thing in tech, why are we, doing X, why are we doing Y, why are we doing Z, the new shiny, however you want to call it. There's always something that somebody's chasing, right? But it's just the nature of the beast lately. Um, and so unless you're willing to put your head down and focus, I think that is the key right now, right? So like when I was getting into tech, it was mid 2016s when I got out of the military, and so it wasn't a huge push as it is now, right? Like so when I got out, it was really just a few vendors out there. It's AWS, Microsoft. Those were really the two big choices I had to make. VMware was a big platform, but the learning curve and the certification was steep. So I went with Microsoft and just really never looked back. And I think that a lot of people don't understand how you can leverage different Microsoft organizations, different Microsoft platforms, different Microsoft upskilling ventures they do. Microsoft Learning has tons of free giveaways throughout the year. So just staying tuned in to Microsoft platforms can get you a lot of free knowledge and free certifications that upskill your value. So I just kind of wanted to give everybody a quick rundown on that, and then talk a little bit about what's going on the channel the rest of the week. Later this week on Friday, I'll be doing a pretty big announcement I'm excited about. Be doing a couple fundraisers, a couple giveaways. Anything I do in the cloud coaching space is going to go towards those, right? So I'm very excited about those. I've just been kind of working on the back end to kind of get everything situated for them. So I've kind of been very low key on those. What else? And then obviously being selected to talk at partner conference was pretty cool, right? Like it's exciting to get to do those opportunities, and that's really it. So another great night, and looking forward to another great week. Hopefully we can pass the test tomorrow and keep it plugging away. Have a great night, and until next time.